Yeah. Yeah. Come and never sleep on me. Eyes on my chain 숙여 너의 고개를 what you looking at fool 너의 눈 허리 멍청했고 find your comfort from another yeah. I go low like undercover yeah. Wanna know my name 죽지 않은 일은 위에 부어버려 기름 guess you can even guess me cause I'm baby high low로 확실해 not like maybe Devil let me welcome to my palace 찾지 않아 Alice you just keep on wonder You just keep on wonder 찾지 않아 Alice 버려 너의 memory I just pop a bin Danny have been 나는 걸어 Boeing 747 날개 위
Hello, everybody. Welcome to For Your Ears Only, where we are reviewing For Your Eyes Only. What did you guys think?
What's up? So I'm gonna be straight with you. This is one of the Bond movies I had whenever I was a little boy. I had, and I've talked about this in previous episodes, but I had like 3 VHSs. That's what I started out with: Goldfinger, For Your Eyes Only, and Live and Let Die. And For Your Eyes Only, I adored, and I still adore today. One of my favorite movies. It's really the start of the latter half of the Roger Moore years, which I do think that latter half is I think it's underrated. I like all 3 movies in it. And this is the first movies of the 80s in the high tech and advanced 80s. So there's a lot of stuff that's going on in this movie. I think we see a lot of old kind of like Flemingisms,
Yeah.
and of course they have to figuratively and literally take Bond back down to Earth since Moonraker. So and I'm gonna get into all that stuff I just went over later on, but I'm gonna let Colton have it because I've been talking for a minute now. Colton,
Hold on.
oh
Yeah.
you baby.
I just asked what you thought. I didn't mean for you to do a monologue.
Okay.
What's
Y'all
up?
ain't.
I'm joking.
I know you are, dude. It's just, if you could, like, your humor, it's just so funny sometimes, man. Like, I love that. And Jonathan, I love, like, how much, like, emotion you just put in that stuff. I can tell this is, like, your childhood nostalgia movie for sure.
Yeah, it's
Like,
kind of weird. A movie from 1981 is one of my childhood favorites, but yeah, it definitely is.
hey, dude, like,
Those VHSs that you mentioned, did you say that those were your first Bond movies?
Yes.
So those VHSs was your first exposure to Bond?
Yes. So
Okay.
as you can see, this is one of the first real exposures to Bond that I had. So yeah, it means a lot.
I think I had this movie. I know I had this movie on VHS. I had it on VHS as well. And I probably ruined that tape because I watched this one a lot too.
It's a good one.
so,
Colton, this is your first time, right?
oh yeah, this is my first time watching it. I'd like to say that I really enjoyed it. I got one question for you, and I'll get back into my thoughts. Is your love for this movie what made you come up with the name for your YouTube channel? Like, is this so close to you? The reason you named it that, or did you just think it was cool?
Both. I mean, just it was always one of my favorites, and just For Your Eyes Only. That's just kind of like a real spy kind of thing. You know what I mean?
What if they had decided to name the movie Operation Undertow?
Operation Undertow? Yeah, like. It's like, what I like is like that dude brings it up at one point, and it's like never.
Dude, I had a thought when that scene came up. I'd never noticed it before. But after so Bernard Lee died, right?
Yeah.
Or was he sick? Is he dead at this point?
He died.
Okay. All right. Well, rest in peace, Bernard Lee.
Yes.
But in the film, it is said that he is on leave. I wanted a scene where Bond exits the office and he calls him. He's like, "Dude, you gotta get back here. Do you know what they're calling this mission? Operation Undertow." That's so stupid. And then M's like, "Yes, 007. I will be back in quick haste.
I mean, just imagine Roger Moore on the phone, like freaking Tanner and Frederick Gray is in here. Frederick Gray's grunting a lot.
Why?
Really
Why
got
was
to
he
get up
grunting?
But anyway, let's start from the beginning, all right? Because what you're talking about right now, Caleb, I really like, but if I keep on going, I'm gonna get wrapped up, and we're gonna.
Oh yeah, that's my bad.
So, and really, this first scene, I really do want to get both of y'all's opinion on, because it literally just like nicely wraps up Bond's literal arch nemesis like that.
I don't
You know what I mean?
know if I would say it nicely wraps it up, but it definitely wraps it up.
It definitely wraps it up. I mean, so Colton Flat, I'm going to ask you first. What do you think about it?
Man, so like, first of all, I absolutely love the fact that he's visiting his wife's grave.
Yeah.
It really, really, I don't usually get invested in movies, but it really touched me. Like, it's not the same actor, but just the fact that they referenced it and knowing how much I care about that movie, it really hit home for me. And I think it like really made me want to like this movie more than I would have if it wasn't in there.
Okay.
And also, the whole sequence with the helicopter and Blofeld, like I was there for it because it was cool stunts and just I don't know. I would really want to drop that dude down a smokestack too after he killed my wife and literally tried to kill me after I'm going to visit her. So screw that guy.
So it had to be intentional that I don't think he ever referred to him as Blofeld, right?
Well, see, they couldn't do that.
Right. Okay, that's what I thought. My biggest takeaway is the cat is okay after you only live twice.
Yeah,
you're right. We were worried about.
I'm glad he found the cat, or maybe the cat found his way back. If that's the case, that's a dumb cat.
it's a dumb cat.
We're going back.
The
But
cat's out of the bag, baby.
I got a question about that scene though. So was the priest in on it? Like,
So, okay, we are really going back in my mind. So, I don't know. And I like to get everybody's opinion of this. Now, let's go back to like 2003 to like, well, actually about 2002, and let's get a fourth grader, Jonathan Lynham, to ask his stepmom, Vanessa. Y'all know Vanessa, right?
I don't.
You don't know Vanessa?
No.
your stepmom, you said?
Yeah.
I don't know her. No.
Well, dang, boys, I thought y'all knew Vanessa. Anyway, I remember her telling me that the priest was in on it.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
I guess from her perspective, he was. Now, so pretty much throughout my whole life, I believed it because she said it. You know, you always believe what the adults say whenever you're really young. Honestly, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. What do y'all think?
As a kid, I thought he was like, I guess in my wild imagination, I just wanted to think that.
Yeah.
But it very well could just be like a default gesture.
Yeah.
You know. So
As my first time being exposed to it, like, so he comes out there, he obviously knows James, and he sees James is in a hard time grieving, not physically, emotionally, but like he knows, hey man, that's the guy's wife. It's probably do what?
It's tough.
Oh yeah, it's tough, and like it's probably the anniversary of her death for him to be there, because like the man's busy, so like he's all like you see, like most of these movies are back to back. Like some of these missions are just hot on the trails of the other ones. So like the fact that he's even there making time out of his busy schedule instead of like off having sex with like 10 other women on an island somewhere, it means it's important to him. It's probably like an anniversary of her death.
Probably. I had never considered that, but that's a very good point.
Well, in the For Your Eyes Only Marvel graphic novel, which I have no idea why I did not bring with me, it is the 10-year anniversary.
Damn.
Well, look at you, Colton.
Good job, Colton.
Nice.
I'm not tooting my own horn because that's just
I'll
what I
toot
feel.
it.
So.
I'll toot it.
I actually really
Toot,
like
toot.
this. This is like, honest to God, guys, even though I think they really see the whole purpose of killing off Blofeld like this was to show Kevin McClory, hey, we don't need Spectre or Blofeld to do a Bond movie. So we can just do away with him like this, you know. Even though they didn't give that credit that was Blofeld, you know that was Blofeld. You know what I mean?
It's heavily
I mean, it's got to be Blofeld.
Heavily implied.
So anyway, like
he even had like a neck brace on.
Yes.
Which the last time we saw him with a neck brace on was
Majesty's.
Yeah, was in Majesty's. So like it just acted like diamonds didn't even happen, right?
It just wrote diamonds out of the continuity.
Yeah, no, diamonds did not happen. That was a fever dream.
It's kind of funny, and it's just like what's funny is like John Glenn talks about that on the commentary. He's like, yeah, you know, the last time we saw Blofeld, he had a neck brace on. It's like, dude, do you not remember Diamonds Are Forever? Like
the guy that they put in the director's seat doesn't even know the continuity.
Doesn't even know the movies.
He's like, no. Diamonds was Henderson. That
Oh yeah.
Anyway, as I was saying, even though I think they really do not do away with Blofeld the way he should, it should be way more climactic and literally Bond and Blofeld, you know, on each other. Like, you know,
they should have both been in motorized wheelchairs going at it.
Yes. Anyway, this has to be one of my probably top 3 favorite pre-title sequences.
Yeah.
Like I mean, the helicopter, you know, Roger Moore, you know, on the side of the helicopter, you know, doing all that. I love it.
That's another thing that I'll probably mention again later, but I think it's more to do with the editing more than anything else. But they do a good job of blending the action scenes that are done by stunt doubles with Roger in this movie, and that was one of these scenes. It looked really good.
Agreed.
Also, in this set of scenes, they do a good job of hiding the other helicopter pilot. Like the camera angle, like you just assume there's not one over there, and like it's just looking at that one side the whole time. Like they do a really, really good job of that. Like I never questioned it.
So moving on from the pre-title sequence to the actual title sequence, this one is actually very unique in the fact that the lady who sang the song, Sheena Easton, is in the title sequence.
Really? Because it shows her singing it at first, right? Okay, I spaced out.
So honestly, like a lot of the more songs are more like soft and you know what I mean. But I do
except for Man with a Golden Gun.
Yeah, Man with the Golden Gun and Live and Let Die are really
But
well, I mean, really, I mean, even with Duran Duran's A View to a Kill, you know, it gets rockier again later on. But
you okay?
I don't want to talk about A View to a Kill yet.
Oh, you don't like the song?
No. There's a story about that. I'll tell you next week.
Just don't even worry about it.
I'm sorry.
It's nothing big, I promise.
Okay. I was gonna say, I did not like this song as a kid, but this time around, when I watched it earlier today, I think this might be top 10 for me.
This song is a banger, dude. I mean,
it's really good.
It's good. Colton, what do you think about this song?
I adore this song.
Yeah.
Probably, definitely, it's in top 10.
Yeah.
I really don't know where I'd put it. I'll have to revisit them all whenever we do the song ranking. But like, man, I sang it like half a day. I was singing it at work. Like I really, really enjoyed it.
So the grocery store I work at on the weekends, E.W. James in Dresden, dude, they play this song like all the time. Like
I was just fixing to ask if this was a grocery store tune.
Yes, they play it, and like I'm always the one. Like if I'm helping somebody bag or something, I like point out to the customer, be like, "This was a Bond song," and the customer be like, "All right," you know. Like,
I didn't need to know that, Sonny. Bag my yams.
But it is what it is.
So I will say that I too work in a grocery store like Jonathan. Caleb, you know this.
Hmm?
They play the theme song from A View to a Kill every single night.
Why that one?
Night.
Why you have 26 songs to pick from.
Dude, A View to a Kill song is awesome.
Well, okay, I'll give you that. It is good. I don't know about on repeat though. Like, I can see it like getting annoying really quick.
That's not even my problem. I never in my life heard the line where he says "A View to a Kill" in the song until last week. I didn't know it was a Bond song, and then like I was singing it because I sing it all the time.
Yeah,
I love that song. And then like I don't know what it was. Like I like kind of heard something. I was like, well, I'm gonna Google the lyrics. I Googled the lyrics and it was like "A View to a Kill." And now I hear it all the time. I didn't know the name of the song. I'm so mad, and I spoiled.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
He spoiled the song for him.
Yeah.
Well,
like I really adore it. I'm sorry I had to tell you the story. It's just
no. That's interesting.
This was the story that I had referred to as "Don't worry about it" earlier.
I'm sorry, John.
No, you're good, Colton. Anyway, well, Colton, you're going to get to see A View to a Kill very soon, so don't worry about it.
Man. I'm super excited, man.
That little jewel's going to be coming soon. Anyway, first part of the movie, we're off the Albanian coast, and as you know, I am a geography nerd, so I did this.
I thought you were fixing to say you were Albanian.
No, I'm not Albanian at all.
I thought the same thing, dude.
Not at all.
Like I thought you were like letting the cat out of the bag. Like I was.
I'm not Albanian, bro. At all. Like I don't.
And then he starts talking in an accent.
No, man.
Just mute me for the rest of the pod. You guys just.
I'm sorry, Jonathan. Continue.
You're good, bro. I just can't believe y'all thought I was going to say that. Anyway.
Just the way you set it up, like the way you worded it, I was like, he's fixing to like reveal something huge.
So I really love this sequence right here. You got dude outside, he's smoking a cigarette, and he's like, he throws it out and goes down in there, and it all of a sudden this old like crappy looking fishing trawler turns into this high-tech spy ship. Yes. Love this part. Think it's awesome. They got the ATAC, which I'm sure that looked awesome at the time. Of course, it looks kind of not high-tech now, but I still love it. Dude, if I could buy a replica of this thing, it would be in every one of these videos. I'd sleep with it if I could get the ATAC replica. All right.
I'm going to Etsy right now.
Like, we need the ATAC replica. I mean, I got the golden gun, but I don't have the ATAC. Anyway, so we see the guy handcuff himself to the ATAC machine. And then, of course, our fishing boat hits a mine. And amid the chaos, the man who is supposed to destroy the ATAC, he dies before he can. This whole sequence is really like, I mean, for being an 80s Roger Moore movie, it's kind of intense. Like that one guy who's like just screaming,
yes.
Like and you can tell he's in pain. It's like, man, this is wild. Like
I made a statement to that point in the Spy Who Loved Me video. Sometimes this series does suspense so well, and I guess I just didn't really pick it up as a kid. But it's especially true in this movie. I think this movie is a better Jaws ripoff than The Spy Who Loved Me. Like, I know we're not at the underwater sequences yet, but that's what I point to when I want to, point out how well the suspense is done in this movie. But yeah, it's just it's something I never noticed as a kid.
Yeah. And then of course we see our boy General Gogol is back, and he's on the line with someone talking about getting the ATAC from the wreck of the St. George's ship.
Mm.
So we get Russia in on it. So we got ourselves a classic Cold War movie. Even though the Russians really aren't portrayed to be too bad later on in the movie.
Yeah. For a split second, I thought we might be getting another team up, but we didn't.
Not at all.
No.
But anyway,
well, kind of at the end, but anyway.
Yeah. So we get Bond coming in with a rose, and he's talking to Moneypenny, and like she says, M is on leave, which we've already talked about. Rest in peace, Bernard Lee, or Bernard Lee, however you say it. I've heard it said both ways.
Yeah.
But, I want to say something about this, man. I love Judi Dench and I love Robert Brown, but straight up, boys, Bernard Lee was, in my opinion, when I think of M,
yeah,
like, dude, do you know how cool it would be to have Bernard Lee as your grandpa? I mean, just imagine that. He'd probably be like the coolest dude ever,
Apparently, he was like really fun, like
really?
on set.
I mean, he has to be. You just look at him, that dude's got to be cool.
Yeah, and you wouldn't think it based on his performance as M.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like, but all the behind the scenes stuff that I've watched about these movies, like everybody has something good to say about him. Yeah. So yeah, he'd probably be an awesome grandpa.
Yes, go ahead, Colton.
I'm just gonna say he looked like one of those grandpas that would smell like peppermint all the time.
Yeah, or tobacco.
Well, see, I want to
definitely tobacco. I'm just talking about because everybody smoked back then, but like tobacco and peppermint.
Oh, okay. Yep.
I'm going to say this, and I'm getting a little off track, but I don't know. I just want to say something about Bernard Lee, just because this is his last movie. Well, this ain't his last movie. It's the one after he died.
Right.
But like whenever I read the James Bond novels, whenever we're going over characters, I have my own, I guess, eternal picture of them. You
have your own canonical version. Yeah.
Like the James Bond, whenever I think of James Bond, I don't think of any of the movie guys. I think of this one artist's illustration of Bond that Ian Fleming had used.
I know which one you're talking about.
Dude, whenever like Bond is talking to M in the novels, I think Bernard Lee, man. I mean, this is literally M Fleming materialized the dude to be M, and it was Bernard Lee. You know what I mean? It just so well, But I do like how Moneypenny tells Bonds chief of staff and the minister of defense are in M's office because M's on leave. And Bond's
gives
going
a flower to her.
And she's like, are you forgetting something? And Bond says, well, as M is on leave, and gives it to her like he was going to bring M a rose,
Yeah.
I just always thought that was a funny little line. But anyway, so we see the other incarnation of Bill Tanner, and he's I don't know, just kind of like a real posh,
I can't see Bond and this guy being friends.
Not at all.
No.
And literally, guys, if you read the novels, Bill is literally Bond's best friend. This is the dude that Bond goes and plays golf with and drinks champagne with at golf, at country clubs and stuff.
Yeah,
this dude is not Bill Tanner. You know what I mean?
I can see Bond hanging out with Q before hanging out with his version of Bill Tanner.
Yes.
I got a question real quick before I forget. I could just look it up, but I feel like rolling the roulette wheel. I might look like an idiot. I might not. But was this guy in Never Say Never Again?
No, but I know who you're talking about. I know No, he's not. But
okay,
you're getting him mixed up with Edward Fox, who is the M in Never Say Never Again.
Okay, now I'm going to look it up.
Yep.
Which is what I should have done in the first place.
So anyway, Bond talks to the Minister of Defense, and and Bill Tanner, and they tell him about. Well, hold up. We're jumping ahead because we still have not talked about our leading lady, Miss Melina Havelock, and her family, who get unfortunately killed by Hector Gonzalez.
Oh, that's right. That's like right after the pre-title sequence.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
We just, I just got a little bit too.
I did the same thing you do all the time. It's right after the title sequence. Yeah.
So, what do y'all think about it, Colton? What do you think?
I think seeing a plane shoot at a boat is really cool. Like it's sad that it's a family. It seemed like they were reuniting, and then the daughter just narrowly avoided it. So
Yeah.
it's just a million wonders she's alive. I would like to say that the father looks like the brother from the Brendan Fraser Mummy movies,
Okay.
like Evie's brother.
Is it?
Unrelated.
Oh my god.
It's not the same guy.
It's
But
not.
he looks like he could be his father or something.
Okay.
Well, to that point, you know why he got shot? He was on the wrong side of the river.
No, you're on the wrong side of the river.
Yeah.
I love that movie. Thank you, Caleb.
So anyway, so they want Bond to go and basically do some reconnaissance on Hector Gonzalez. So we see the beautiful Lotus Esprit driving around. I think we're supposed to be in Spain, I think, or Portugal, something like that. And so what do you think about the Lotus being back? What do y'all think about it? You like it?
It's maroon or red. Like it.
No,
looks,
this is the first. This is the first Lotus. It's white.
Yeah, it's
oh,
white.
it's white. My bad.
I mean, that's fine if you don't remember. It was
No.
on screen for like 2 seconds.
Yeah, it's not there. It blows up later.
I remember it. I remember because he locked the door, and I was like, and he stuck his key in the door to lock. I was
Hey.
like, this is ridiculous.
I want to tell you something. Like the clothes that Roger Moore wears at this part, it's like this green like sweater and some like khakis. It's kind of like I don't know how to explain it, but like I dig it. I would totally wear it. Like even though it kind of looks like I don't know.
I dig it. I remember thinking like, for something that looks like what an 80-year-old
Yes.
would wear,
Like
he pulls it off pretty well.
Yeah. For something you would think somebody in the nursing home would be sporting, Moore does pretty good with it.
Jonathan, I think you would look good in anything Roger Moore wears. I think you could pull it all off, dude.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
Of course.
You'll look great on your way to bingo.
Thank you.
Baccarat, Caleb. He's not old yet.
So anyway, Bond is quickly captured by these people, and he's talking to Gonzalez, and Gonzalez is like, Walter PPK. Then he's like, license to kill, and he says, or be killed. That was his 5 minutes of fame right there, and he's promptly killed by crossbow bolt from Miss Melina Havelock. And of course, Bond gets free and which leads into one of my favorite scenes.
I adore this entire sequence. Yes. From the moment he hits the water until I don't know, whenever it ends. Yes. I love every second of it.
Moore is. I think Moore is doing a good job. Like, I don't think anything stands out that you can't. You know what I mean? Like some scenes in the movies, you can be like, I know that's the stunt double, but I think this one is done pretty well.
This sequence in particular, yes, it's great. Yeah.
What do y'all think about him pulling a Mary Poppins and using the?
That is my favorite part.
Love it.
Sequence.
That actually, well, I don't know. I was gonna say it works, but I was probably 75, 80 pounds at the time I tried it. I don't know about a 200-pound Roger Moore, but when I tried it, it slowed me down. So there might be some credence to that.
So when you tried it, did you do it because of this movie?
Yes. Yeah.
Love it. That's what I'm talking about. Hey, that's why our generation is awesome because we did stuff like that whenever we were kids.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I got a ass reaming over that, but
Them patio umbrellas high.
Yeah.
They were probably too high back then.
it was fun. And I don't think I broke it the first time, but like I kept doing it. I'm pretty sure. And well, anyway, that's a different conversation.
I got you.
Don't. I guess what I'm trying to say is like to the kids out there, don't do that.
So what do you think about the car chase that comes after? I mean, I want to say this. We had the opportunity to have an awesome Lotus chase, but I don't think we lost much because Bond, like it shows how awesome of a driver Bond is that he can get in this little rinky-dink Citroen and do as awesome as he does. You know what I mean? That shows.
Yeah, I was talking about this scene earlier when I said that I adore this whole sequence. Like I was including this because it's like a nice subversion of expectations. Because, well, I want to point out, nice, awesome.
Hey, Colton,
I love it.
you like it?
That is really cool. But I wanted to talk about the anti-theft on the Lotus. Doesn't that seem a bit extreme?
Yeah,
Like
so
maybe have an alarm go off first.
So I read that they put that in there because, like, a lot of the people who was working on this movie, I think they were in New York City, or it was a city that got plagued by car theft really bad. Mm-hmm. And I guess some of the people working on the movie got their car stole, and they put that in there to be like a middle finger to carjackers. And being a person whose car has got stole before, I understand.
Your car has gotten stolen?
Yeah.
No way. Oh, dude, was it the Sierra?
No, it's the Dodge Charger, black one. Okay. I got up here. Anyway, that's another story too.
But I'll wrap up my thought real quick. I like the subversion of expectations.
Yes.
Like you said, like we kind of passed up an opportunity to have another cool chase sequence with a Lotus like we did in The Spy Who Loved Me. But like, I don't know. I think it might be better this way.
Yes. Colton,
honestly,
what do you think?
So
I know you're a car guy, so I just kind of want to get your opinion on this.
So I have no nostalgic attachment to this movie. I think the stunts were executed well, and like I get why they do it because it's campy and funny. And especially the car blowing up makes it really situationally funny. I love when he's like, I think I'll drive whenever they have to swap.
Yeah.
He's like, you don't mind, do you? Like it shows you like he's doing what he needs to do, and like he also does it great. So like, whereas it's not as cool as if we got a Lotus chase scene, I also don't think the Lotus is like a bigger car. I don't know how it would have went in some of those smaller streets. It probably they did it with this.
I want to speak. I'm sorry.
No, I was just saying I agree.
Oh, yeah. The Lotus probably wouldn't have handled too well on those narrow roads. But you mentioned something about it, like you think you feel like they did it just to be like campy and funny. But I feel like, well, go ahead.
Not necessarily like it's. I'm not saying it's all camp. Like I'm just saying like it's not like the Man with a Golden Gun camp. It's just like
okay, yes, that's the point I was gonna make. Yeah,
it's just situational irony.
Yes,
is what I mean. And like also you can destroy a Citroen. Like I mean,
and nobody's gonna get their feelings hurt. Yeah,
right. I mean, but that point is mute when they literally just destroyed a Lotus. So I mean, like. I don't know.
That's a good point.
I don't know if it's a real Lotus or like a prop Lotus.
Definitely a prop. It had to be.
You know, I have a book that I bought. Like, I teach a class at the Martin Library,
Yeah.
So sometimes whenever I'm there, whenever I'm leaving, I'll go check out the books that you can get for like, $1 or something. And one of the books was a little book about this big, and it was on the Citroen that's this yellow car,
Yeah.
it's all about that. So I bought it for like $1. And on my Twitter page, I showed it off on there. I wish I had thought and brought it on here. It's at one of my classrooms, so but I should have brought it for this podcast.
I wanted to mention something else about this whole sequence. It's like there is comedy in here for sure. Like there are funny bits, but it's like they're not shoving it in your face.
Yeah.
It's almost like I feel like the man with the golden gun could have had a laugh track in some scenes, and it wouldn't have been it wouldn't have felt out of place.
It wouldn't have felt out of place. It wouldn't have.
You know what I mean?
You're
and here it's like the funny moments happen organically, if that makes sense.
This movie is tonally consistent.
Perfect. Yes, that is a perfect way to put it.
Thank you.
So
what did you just grab?
What?
Jonathan reached behind, grab something off the shelf. I thought you were going to show us something. I'm sorry.
Oh no.
Okay, my bad.
So anyway, whenever Bond gets back to the office, the chief of staff, Bill Tanner, is pretty pissed at him because he allowed Mr. Havelock to pufferate him. And like this scene is literally one of my favorite scenes in all the Bond movies because it just singly because of Frederick Gray doing
Dude,
like why does he do that? Like
I feel like they were just trying to make up for Bernard Lee not being in the movie.
Yeah, but like it is just so funny hearing that dude do that.
That was an odd noise. He didn't have to do that, but
like I laugh at that every time I watch the movie. Like,
yeah.
So like that is like basically the equivalent of going harumph.
Yep.
Like it's ridiculous.
But anyway, so what do you think about Bond going to Cortina, which is the snowy place in Italy, I believe? What do you think about it? Oh, hold up. Before that, I want to talk about this. What about the identigraph?
Oh, dude. I'm so glad you remembered that.
I love that identigraph, dude. This is like one of my all-time favorite Q labs. Like,
look, it was probably really cool. Like,
dude, you know what? I don't care what anybody says. That shit's still cool. I love this scene.
I don't know, man. It looked like they were fixing to play one of those like text-based RPGs, and they're in the creative character. They're in the creative character screen.
Yes.
And but okay, I'll put it this way: if I'm watching this scene through the eyes of somebody in the '80s, thumbs up, like really cool, and I'm gonna leave it at that.
Well, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I don't know. I mean, it's a nostalgia thing, but like, dude, give me this kind of Bond scene where like, it's all like crazy and, kind of campy. I love this Q-Lab scene more than like 90% of the other ones.
Yeah. The way that I phrased that kind of makes it sound like that I didn't like it. I don't mind it. It's fine. I feel like they were this thing's kind of held back by the effects that they were limited to at the time. And maybe that's just a bad way of looking at it. It is actually like
you're good, dude.
But that's just how I feel. I don't hate it,
but I do like how it literally prints off legit that dude's face.
The picture of the actor. Yeah.
Yeah, like.
Yeah.
So, like from the point of view of a person that has never seen this, like coming in, like I'm used to seeing like bad like tech and everything. Like, I was kind of startled. Like It's just no.
I can see. Okay, yeah, I can see why I wasn't startled because I've seen this 100 times. So,
Like whenever they were talking about the identigraph, I was like maybe they're gonna put like some kind of headset on Bond and like read his mind or like.
oh my God. Okay, it
I
could have been
didn't-
worse.
I didn't know that they were gonna pretty much have Bond and Q do like a police etch a sketch with a computer.
Yes.
Bond's like, hey, Q, I got this guy in my mind, boot up Morrowind, and
Morrowind.
Exactly.
I have a copy of Morrowind.
Hey, so Colton, are y'all like? How do you feel? Are you on my side or you on Caleb's side on this one?
Like, okay.
I don't really have a side. I'm neutral.
I'm just messing with you.
Okay.
So while I am slightly bashing on it, I absolutely adore the scene just because Bond is doing this stuff after hours. Like
Yeah.
he's making Q stay over to do this.
I mean,
And
like,
then-
I didn't even consider that.
Well,
Like,
well,
yeah, he.
well, they're in there, and then I think we're supposed to think that time passes because the
Yeah.
hours.
it's up and
Just-
the lights are out. So
Just hours passed and they spent hours
just
doing
hours
this.
of Bond and Q like making this dude's face.
I never noticed that until this most recent viewing. But yeah, when she comes in the door with the coffee,
The coffee, yeah.
if you look behind her, all the lights are off. And then Q actually mentioned something about locking up. What happened? What happened is they just started playing Morrowind,
Yeah.
and then Bond was like, "Oh crap, Q, man, we got so sidetracked. Go back to the create a character screen."
So while they were having fun playing Morrowind, and I can appreciate that, I would like to say that Q is coming from a place of like earnestness, telling that woman that he would lock up for him. Bond is coming from a place of, I'm just gonna be an asshole. It's like, I'll leave you to lock up. It's like, you didn't have to say that, James.
Yes, I always thought, even as a little kid, I was like, why was Bond such an ass to Q? I mean, Q was just helping him with the identigraph. Like,
I know. I found myself asking myself that a lot, rewatching these movies.
I mean, literally, Q was good enough to stay after hours and work on this flipping computer. Like,
Man,
yeah. With
Bond
2
destroyed-
gigabytes of RAM, it's probably slow as shit. That's why so much time passed.
yes, computer running.
like Bond destroys all his stuff, even though he asks him nicely not to.
Yeah.
He disrespects him almost weekly.
Like every interaction they have, Bond is just a total asshole. And then Q's like, you know what? Yeah, I'll stay 4 hours after my regular time and help you. And then Bond's like, hey, I'm leaving. Fuck you. Like,
Pretty much, man. It never ceases to amaze me the lengths that Bond will go to be like, you know what? I'm gonna be a dick. It's like, I know I shouldn't. I'm about to leave. I'm gonna be nice. It's like, you know what? It's really been irking the shit out of me. I'll leave you to lock up.
yeah. Here you go, Bond. Here's the guy that you wanted, and then Bond just grabs it and runs.
That's not
out.
even him. I'll be back first thing in the morning.
This looks like shit.
So anyway, whenever Bond makes it down to Cortina, like I really do like this scene where the guys on the motorcycle are, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And Roger Moore takes one of those like pieces of wood that they, put to cover the road and hits the guy with it.
It's like one of those gates, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. And yeah.
And
I don't know if
I love it
I don't know
when
if
he
that
says-
was a sorry.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
I don't know if that was a prop. If it was, then they did a really good job of like making it look heavy. Like it really sold the fact that like that hurt that guy on the motorcycle.
I mean, it would have sucked.
Yeah, and like in Bond actually has a line after that guy
Yes.
goes to the window and
That's what I wanted to say.
okay, go ahead.
He said, send them to the funeral.
Yeah. And I was like, yeah, he probably is dead.
Like, that I love that line.
Yeah, I do too.
So we see Bond meet with he meets Melina here, who has came because she says that Bond has sent a telegram for her when Bond has not. So Bond knows something is up there. And he also meets with a guy named Luigi. Colton, what do you think about Luigi? You like him?
Man, so my favorite thing about Luigi is that like he is trying so hard to be inconspicuous, a good spy. Like he is doing everything it's like he bought like every book on how to be inconspicuous in public, and he is just doing a terrible job at it.
Bless his heart.
Do you guys think that MI6 like gets in contact with Bond's contacts in preparation, and they're like, hey, I'm gonna warn you, this guy's a like total asshole. Just bear with him.
I honestly think that the other agencies, whenever they get a call from MI6,
they're like, oh god,
please
don't be 007.
They're like, they know it's 007, and they're like, he's gonna get him killed. Just send
our worst one. Yeah.
Like,
who's topped out at their pay? Okay, yeah, send him.
We've been trying to fire this guy for months.
Yeah.
Coming back.
Anyway, so we meet Luigi, and we also meet a guy named Aristotle Christatos. And before we really get into anything else, I want to say this movie takes parts of a few other novels. Yeah. It takes part of the short story For Your Eyes Only, also the short story of Risiko, and a little bit of the novel Live and Let Die is in this movie as well. But Aristotle Christatos was the bad guy in the short story Risiko.
Okay.
So
can I take a quick guess as to what they borrowed from Live and Let Die?
Go ahead.
Is it the boat? Were they being dragged by the boat? Okay. Yes. I'm thinking, I'm almost positive that I read that one when I was a kid in high school. And that scene stuck out to me because I remember when I was reading it, I was like, oh, that's from Live and Let Die. Or For Your Eyes Only, sorry.
I'm glad you brought up high school. Caleb, I didn't have the Bond books whenever I was in high school. I know that your dad has a very handsome set of Bond books.
Yeah.
But I didn't have them. I had a few, but not many. I had like maybe 3 or 4, and this was probably like my 11th or 12th grade. So pretty far into my high school career. Now, our library did have, and I mean the library at the school, they did have like 2 or 3 Bond books.
They actually had I don't know if it was called James Bond Jr., but they had a series that was about like a maybe he was like in his early 20s in these books. Did you ever read those?
The Young Bond books?
Is it Young Bond? Is that what it's called? Yeah. I remember our library having those. And I think I read that entire series. And I want to say, and this is coming from like my 16, 17-year-old mind. At the time, I remember them being like kind of good.
Yeah, they are. It's funny you bring that up. I was actually listening to Young Bond on an audiobook on the way home from work today.
Which one?
The first one, Silverfin.
Yes. Just by hearing you say that title, it's a good book. I mean, I'm really had a good time. I know I'm getting off topic, but my bad.
I've really having a good time exploring all the different, facets of Bond, not just the movies and the Fleming novels. I mean, comics, continuation novels, like one thing I've been onto the most here lately are like screenplays that were not used. I've been reading all of them here lately. Just always something to be looking at.
Yeah, those are always very interesting to me. And I'm gonna shut up here in just a second, but I haven't forgot about the Diamonds Are Forever alternate screenplay. I still need to look that up.
Yeah.
I feel like that would make a really good discussion, maybe for.
I'm telling you, License to Queer, go check their page out. they've got a whole video dedicated to that Diamonds Are Forever alternate script, and I mean they do it good, man. It's good. It's awesome.
Yeah. I want to say they get on the don't they get on like the horse-drawn carriage at this point in the
Yes.
movie?
Yes.
Okay. I did not. I don't want to say I didn't like the scene. It just felt really awkward to me.
Yeah.
Like it's like they were really trying to sell like her emotional involvement in the plot, and it just did not come off. Like it just didn't come off like it was supposed to. I don't think.
I got you.
I mean, am I alone in that?
I mean, I guess I could understand how you would say that. I look at pretty much every scene in this movie through rose-colored glasses, so I mean,
That's fair.
But yeah, I mean, I could see how you would say that. Like, of course, we are having to really quickly understand, her losing her family, and we're also I think we're supposed to think that there is more of a love relationship between Bond and Melina.
Yeah.
Like they were supposed to kind of extrapolate that from this scene, and
Okay.
there's really no really real reason for them to be in love, or other than the fact that they just met each other.
Other than the fact that she's in the script.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. I think that was a lot of it for me. It's like I'm hearing the dialogue, but it's not like I'm not buying it.
Yeah. But
so, like, to touch on what Caleb said, I'm going to say something that's kind of probably it's something I picked up on, and you guys might not have. But I feel like this movie, not only does it call back to Majesties at the beginning of the movie, I think the whole movie harkens back to Majesties in a lot of ways. So, like, you get the horse-drawn carriage sequence. While I don't think there's any actual love there, probably due to the fact that Roger Moore's old and really doesn't want to be doing a lot of stuff with some of these younger women. But, like, I think it was supposed to be, like, maybe a subtle nod to some of the love scene there, like the montage.
Maybe that's what it was. Like, that could have been the whole point, and I just missed it.
Well, that in my mind, and then also at the end of the movie, you've got Bond teaming up with Columbo is like Bond teaming up with his wife's dad.
Now, I definitely caught those parallels, and especially the beach sequence where they're being chased by the dune buggies.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stop there because again, I'm getting way ahead, but
yeah, I jumped ahead too. My bad.
But yeah, I did pick up on a few Majesty's parallels.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you, Colton. I think there's a lot of people that kind of view this movie as a almost like a revisited Majesties or a part two of it, because I mean it does.
It
does
picks
have
up.
to do a lot with Majesties. I mean, a lot of the things coming. I mean, a lot of the people coming back. Like as Blofeld is what I'm talking about. Obviously,
I got that as soon as you said that. It's like as soon as the movie opens, we're right back where we left off from Majesties. We got Tracy, which in her grave, and then Blofeld in the neck brace.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I can definitely see this being like a sequel of sorts.
Yeah,
like a spiritual successor.
Yeah, like Majesty's 10 years later.
In addition to what we were talking about, also this movie cast is stacked, maybe not for its time, but for today's time. A lot of the actors in this film became prominent actors like in their career. Like you have Aristotle's actor, Julian Glover. He's in Game of Thrones.
Dude, he's in Indiana Jones.
I still haven't rewatched Indiana recently, so I need to revisit it. But also his lackey or whatever, Charles Dance, he's also in Game of Thrones.
Charles Dance played Ian Fleming in a Ian Fleming like a TV movie.
Yeah, was it? Yeah, I remember that. Was that a miniseries or was it just a
Well, they had a mini series about Ian Fleming, but the one Charles Dance was in was just a TV movie called Goldeneye.
Okay.
I have to watch this now.
Yeah,
Me too.
Me too. Anyway, so yeah, a lot of stuff goes on here in Cortina. We get Bond meeting BB, which is the young girl. It's a skater, ice skater, not a roller blader or a skateboarder.
What's her name again?
BB.
Okay. I just I remember saying something to my wife. I'm not gonna give her full name on the podcast just for her sake, but like for short,
Yeah.
I call her BB.
Yeah.
And I just thought that was kind of cool.
I got you.
I'm saying that for my wife, so when she listens to this, she'll be like, she'll remember this.
Your wife listens to the pod?
Every once in a while. I don't think she's ever made it through a full episode. If she makes it this far, I'll know because she'll mention that.
Well, my wife listens to some of it too. Sometimes she'll call me and be like, "Hey, I'm listening to, The Man with the Golden Gun." Like the other night, my kids were like, Charlie
Really?
was. Yeah, I was
Wait,
like, "Good girl, good girl."
Our podcast?
Yes.
Oh,
Hey, it's all good, man. It's all good, Caleb.
man.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Promise.
I got to clean up my act.
Listen,
I do too, dude. I did
boys, my
not
kids
know.
ain't sensitive. All right, you're
It
good.
doesn't matter. Like,
No,
my
no,
bad.
you trust me. You're good. I'm telling you. You're good.
Okay.
But anyway, so pretty much during these scenes, Bond's trying to find out more information, and then, of course, all of these snow sequences, all the tension leads up to the skiing action scene, which is one of my. I mean, I love this sequence. Bond's up at the top of this ski lift thing, and he goes out, and everybody tries to hurt him and kill him and all that stuff.
You're talking about where he goes down the big ramp, right?
Yes.
Okay, so did he intend? When I watched it this time, what I took from it was like he intentionally like timed his jump with somebody else, so like to throw off the guys that were like trying to shoot at him. Is that what happened? Because I remember thinking as a kid that Bond goes down and the other guy that's on the ramp with him is also a bad guy. Is that what it was?
Yes.
Okay, all right. So it's usually the other way around. I usually I think wrong as a kid and then figure it out as an adult.
So I'm going to say the obvious thing that's obvious, but like all these snow sequences and everything is like a direct callback to Majesty's.
And the bobsledding too.
Which is done so much better here.
It's awesome.
Like,
it is so cool.
This whole sequence is like,
it's great.
It's awesome. Like
I have no complaints
whatsoever.
whatsoever.
And the thing is, I think it still holds up today. Like this, to me, this isn't something I look at. I'm like, yeah, it was good for its time, but like,
right.
I still think this is a good action sequence today. Looking at it, especially there was like some like really suspenseful scenes when Roger Moore's using the ski stick to like try to get his gun.
Yes.
I think there's just a lot of good shots, a lot of good scenes.
Just some of the guys on the dirt bikes riding a dirt bike around on ice,
yes,
around a corner. Like you see them having to put their feet out to keep it steady. That is really, really cool. And I'm sure like there's more practiced bike riders nowadays. It was probably really, really hard for them to do that in the first couple tries.
Oh,
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure there were.
Those guys had to be experts with a dirt bike to do all that stuff they did.
And also, dude, there's like miles of footage of those guys wiping out.
Probably.
But everything in this sequence, like you said, holds up. Everything looks great.
And I don't know if it's something about the film that they use in this movie, but I just think the film does not look like an old movie. Like it just everything still looks. I mean, I know the technology that's used in the movie looks old, but like
No, I know exactly what you're
Yeah.
saying, and I actually had that in mind. I was gonna say something to that effect when we started, and I forgot. But like,
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the quality, maybe it's the color grading, but there is something like really organic feeling about this
Yeah.
movie. It's like obviously like you could tell probably like from the first few minutes if you've never seen this movie before, it's pretty evident that this is like a more gritty movie.
Yeah.
Like versus this is a big departure from Moonraker.
Yes.
And the way it's presented like really hammers that home. Like it's got a really it's and I wouldn't describe the picture as gritty because that would look bad. It's just got a really organic feel to it.
Yes.
And I'm sure somebody that actually knew the terminology or just knew what the hell they was talking about could just describe it a lot better. But
Yeah, I just I don't know. This is just one movie. I just think it would. I just think it's beautiful. Like
yeah, it's just nice to look at.
Yeah.
So, like, it's gonna sound dumb the way I'm about to describe this, but it's got like, if somebody took a noir film, like not okay. So you know how like you had old like spy and like noir films back in the day.
Yeah.
Like like you just have that feeling with it.
Yeah.
I have that feeling with this movie in color, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's the atmosphere.
Yeah. Like it captures it just like shoot, I forget which movie it was. They're kind of blended together a little bit. The one I said felt really Indiana Jones-esque.
The Spy Who Loved Me.
The Spy Who Loved Me. Okay. I love that movie. The way that movie felt like an Indiana Jones movie, this movie feels not necessarily like Bondian, because while it is in the Bond genre, it feels like another movie I've seen, and I can't call back to it.
Okay, to that point, what movies were also released around this time, Jonathan? What the point that I'm getting to is like, was this influenced by anything else?
I don't really think this one was influenced by other movies. I think this one was influenced more by Barbara Broccoli. Well, no, not Barbara Broccoli. Albert Broccoli wanting to like
the critical failure of Moonraker is what this movie was influenced by.
I mean, I think they were like, there's no way we can go more, sci-fi or whatever than what we did. So we need to just kind of just bring it all back to the beginning.
Yes. And which this movie does very well. And also, Colton kind of reminded me of another thought that I had. Like, this movie is kind of a slow burn.
Yeah.
Would y'all agree?
Yeah.
But it's a slow burn, but at the same time, it is paced so well. Like, slow it can sometimes be like a synonym for boring, but that's not what I mean. Like, I feel like we're building towards something the whole time, and we are. So it's you could draw parallels to noir films in that sense too, I guess.
I mean, you could, in my opinion. I mean, okay. Do y'all like Alfred Hitchcock?
I've never seen a Hitchcock film.
I was gonna say I really just don't know enough.
So
like I'm just not familiar enough with his movies.
I think For Your Eyes Only might be a little bit Hitchcockian.
You think so?
Yeah, I mean, like I've always thought maybe Roger Moore's For Your Eyes Only and Octopussy are a little bit Hitchcockian. Anyway,
okay.
Just in terms of like just some of the themes that Hitchcock would do, like a lot of the things he would do in his movies.
Mm-hmm.
Like they do a lot in these two. So
okay.
Chinatown.
What?
Chinatown. I think Chinatown's the movie I'm vibes from Chinatown.
Okay. I don't know. Have you seen that movie, Jonathan?
No.
I haven't either.
I know what he's talking about though. I watched watched a YouTube video on it one time.
Man, dude, we are losing all of our credibility. Like,
I know.
people that watch these podcasts are going, oh my God, they haven't seen Chinatown?
Just a bunch of
All right.
hicks on it.
Dude, I hope they don't
Fellas.
find out that I've never seen a movie before.
We have got to review Chinatown together. It is my favorite Jack Nicholson film. You guys will absolutely adore it.
Yeah, no, I'm down for sure. I've heard a lot of good things about that movie. Real quick, since we were talking about like the visuals, one thing this movie I feel like could benefit from is better cinematography, and I'm not saying that the cinematography is bad. And in fact, there are some shots, the chase scene that we were talking about earlier in particular, that look great.
Yeah.
It's just not consistent. Like there's sometimes, I don't know, it's just like they didn't really think about, like, they didn't put a lot of thought into framing a shot. It's just like, just get the actors in the center of the frame and shoot.
It's John Glenn again, isn't it?
Yes. This is John Glenn's first movie.
Yes, but I don't know who the cinematographer was.
So we get Bond going to see BB off and getting attacked by Charles Dance and his bunch, and we see Bond hijack a vehicle, which is what is that, like an ice scraper or whatever?
Zamboni, yeah. Is that it? Okay.
It's a Zamboni.
Dude, I wish it would have like sprouted some like inflatable what am I trying
The wacky,
pontoons.
wobbly, inflatable arm man.
No. It's like some inflatable pontoons that Bond like just floated down the river or some bull crap, like in Moonraker.
The gondola.
Yeah.
So what do y'all think about this scene?
It reminded me of is it Batman Forever, where they're playing hockey?
No, that's Batman and Robin.
Yes, of course, Batman. This scene reminded me of that movie.
Fair enough.
That scene. Yeah.
I know exactly what you mean.
Because when the scene, when it first started, I was like, okay, I remember these guys being like bad guys dressed in hockey gear. And then I was like, yeah, but at least Bond doesn't like start scoring goals. And I was like, oh, he's scoring goals.
So this movie, like, I know it shouldn't have, but as I was watching it, like, I guess because of again, the way the time period looks, like, I'm watching the hockey scenes and I'm just like expecting Emilio Estevez to walk out with the rest of the Mighty Ducks.
Oh,
Like, I know it's bad, but man, like, this is probably one of the only scenes in the movie that took me out. And I'm not saying anything bad about the movie, because like, it just
there's nothing inherently wrong with like how the scene is executed. The only thing I don't like is like, okay, if Bond had knocked one of them into a goal, sure, but it's like he was trying to make all three of them into the goal. And
I know.
It's like
like it was a mini game or something.
I think they had a quota of like, they had to meet a gag quota, and obviously probably not, but I just feel like they felt like they needed to have a gag.
Yeah.
And
my main question, Caleb, is I've never played hockey. I've never been to a hockey game. I've watched, the most I know about hockey is the Mighty Ducks movies. I've watched them all.
Mm-hmm.
But how does a hockey net work? Like the hockey goal? Like, does it like record it going in like sensor wise? Or is there somebody in the booth hitting the buzzer saying that they scored?
There is some guy in the booth that just loves keeping score. He won't go home.
Well, then that is my headcanon. That makes this even stupider.
Hmm?
Is there's a guy watching Bond knock a dude in there. He's like,
he lives in there, and they're like, dude, you don't have to be here if there's not a game. He just
I don't
loves keeping score.
My headcanon is that it's Q.
Colton.
He's just up
It's
there
a
helping
second
Bond.
job. That's why he was trying to get. He's trying to get extra hours at MI6. It's because he had to get a second job as a hockey scorekeeper.
I'm gonna be straight with you, Colton. I thought I overthought stuff. You have surpassed me with that right there. You really did think that out. Good Lord.
I'm sorry, John.
No,
Like,
no,
I'm
you're
really
good.
sorry.
You're saying so your head canon is that it is Q keeping
Oh
score.
yeah, Q.
Is he in? Is he
Look,
in there with Mjolnir?
he's in there with Mjolnir. No, I feel like Q follows Bond around all the time.
He
We
does.
just
He
never
does
see him until he
just
needs him.
right. I was gonna say he seems to just like kind of show up when it's convenient. Maybe
Yep.
he's there. Maybe he's there all the time.
Yep.
You know,
He's the real secret agent. Bond's just out there
dude. What if he is?
blazing the trail.
What if Bond is like? What if Bond's like a decoy for Q?
So we see Bond go out to the car and we see that Luigi is dead.
Yeah.
So
I was mad. I'm not gonna lie, because you have that scene juxtaposed with losing somebody so. I said he was doofy earlier. Like I liked the character. Like he was just a tryhard.
They really portrayed him as like a really sweet guy.
Yeah.
And so that just makes it this movie touches on some emotional stuff.
Yeah.
And this thing in particular, I remember like Colton said, I felt kind of mad.
So anyway, Bond goes out to Greece to meet Melina. And we see Bond going around, different places in Greece. And we see Bond going to meet Christatos in a casino. So Christatos and Bond have actually had the conversation recorded by Columbo. You know what I'm talking about?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't remember this scene. Like when I was watching it, I was like, I don't remember this scene from when I was a kid. But I remember thinking from this most recent viewing when the woman got up and I think she like dumps her drink out on Columbo. I remember thinking like it looked kind of suspicious, and come to find out, what did he whisper to her? He whispered something to her. Anyway, yeah, it was.
That woman is Pierce Brosnan's first wife.
Is that her? I remember reading or hearing something about her having something to do with the series.
Yes, she was this girl, which is Countess Liesel or whatever her name is.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I like this. I like her. I think she's very attractive.
Oh yeah, she's good looking, but she looks older.
Yeah, she is definitely an older woman. Which I mean, hey, there's nothing wrong with that at all. You know what I mean?
Well, hold on a second. So, Brosnan would have been like early. No, he wouldn't have been early 30s. He'd be like late 20s around this time, right?
Let's see. He would have been in his 30s. He was in 1995 when he did Goldfinger. Goldeneye, not Goldfinger. He was 42 in that one, so he would have been in his 30s. Actually, no, he would have been in his 20s here. Yeah, you're right, 20s.
Okay. She's pretty though.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean, what was I gonna say? Another thing I didn't realize as a kid is I don't remember Bond thinking that Columbo was a bad guy, so that kind of came as a surprise to me.
So we get Bond going home with Liesel, and Bond figures out that she's actually not who she says she was. She was, like did y'all hear the part whenever he's like where are you from? Liverpool? Is that what he said?
No. She says her nightgown slipping off.
Yeah.
And he goes, yeah, so's your accent.
Yeah.
And I think she says that her actual accent was Liverpool.
Yeah, because Bond said Manchester. That's what he said. He said Manchester, and she says no, Liverpool.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, I believe you're right.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just really like her character. I mean, to me, it seems like there's more. I mean, more. I could see Roger Moore's Bond viewing her more than just like a one night thing. You know what I mean?
I'll say this: I have more emotional attachment to her than
Yes,
the crossbow girl.
exactly. I do too. Like, I really do think that. I mean, you could see Roger Moore's Bond kind of settling down with this woman. You know what I mean?
Well, there's that, and also it's like the the other girl. What is her name? I'm sorry.
Melina.
The character. Yes, Melina. I apologize. Um, like she's just so wooden.
Yeah.
Like I don't care. I know
Well,
it's shitty, but I just don't care.
I think a lot of people probably get that same feeling from her. Because she she was fine. There's nothing
She's just,
special about her.
man,
I think that's the thing.
she's just so emotionless. What's that word I used last show? Milk
Milk toast.
toast. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I get parallels from her to the DC Comics character Helena Bertinelli. Like her family was killed by a crime. Like her family is a crime family.
Mhm.
They're murdered by another crime lord, and like she goes out on a vendetta to kill them.
Yeah. Did you freeze? Oh, he's
me,
froze. No, Colton.
Colson, did you freeze?
Um,
Oh,
you guys
there you go.
froze on
You're
mine.
back.
You're back.
Did it mess with my audio?
No.
Nope, you're good. You just
Okay.
froze. You just
Anyway,
froze for a second.
Anyway, so at this scene, we see our Countess Liesel get gunned down. Well, actually, no, she didn't get gunned down. She gets hit by a dune buggy,
Yeah.
and we get Bond being held at gunpoint by Locke and Charles Dance, and it looks like literally Bond is about to get killed. But Columbo's guys come up out of the water and shoots Charles Dance, so he's dead. And then Bond kicks the gun out of Locke's hand. So then Bond is took by the Columbo gang, the Columbo smugglers. And we haven't really talked about this, but the whole dove insignia. And you know what? One of my things that I want to get, I need to get a dove pin to put in the bar somewhere. You know what I mean?
Do you have a cork board anywhere?
What?
A cork board?
I don't.
Oh, I was gonna say you can just stick it on a cork
Just stick
board.
it in that? Yeah.
Yeah.
If I can find me a pin, I'll do that.
Yep.
So just think about this, listener. If you're listening to this in a future podcast, I might have this pin. So you can be excited for that. So anyway, let's talk about Columbo. Columbo is literally one of my favorite Bond allies ever. I mean, Columbo is awesome. At least that's what I think. He's played by the same dude that played the main character in Fiddler on the Roof, which is a movie I had to watch whenever I was in music class in high school. So what do y'all think about Columbo?
I love him.
Love him too.
He's great. He's a great ally. He's got a good personality. He's fun to watch. He's fun to watch on screen. I feel like he would be fun to hang out with. Like he just seems like a really cool guy, honestly.
Most definitely.
So I know he's like a bad guy, and I know like he's basically like I know Luigi's the Felix Leiter of this movie. But I would have rather Columbo been in that spot, or I'd rather Columbo been in the I can't even remember the girl's name whose parents were murdered.
Melina.
Okay.
I say that like I didn't just forget 2 minutes ago.
Well, I would rather see more of him with Bond in this movie because like their chemistry is just really good together.
Yeah, they have really good chemistry.
Yes.
That's why that may have something to do with why like I never like retained that he like was a bad guy at first, or like Bond viewed him as an enemy,
like a gangster. You know what I mean? Like
but like Colton said, I mean technically he is a crime crime lord of sorts.
Yeah.
But I said the same thing in the Majesty's podcast. I think it's really cool when Bond sort of teams up with on what on any other day might be considered the bad guy. You know what I mean? Like he's got bigger fish to fry.
You know what I like it whenever Bond, teams up with gangsters. It just shows how close Bond is to literally being on that level, being,
Right.
Bond is like just, if you just take that government sponsorship off of Bond, he would literally be a gangster,
That is yes, I was going to say the exact same thing. The only
Right.
thing that is separating Bond from a street gangster
Yes.
is he's
Life
funded
is-
by the government.
Exactly. And like I think this movie and On Her Majesty's Secret Service most definitely show
They
that.
portray that very well, yeah.
Because Bond falls in line very well with Columbo's, hoods, like
Yeah, it occurred to me that they're probably those two movies, including this one, like they're probably kind of making a commentary
yeah.
on that.
But this next scene, whenever Bond and Columbo's men are attacking the warehouse in Albania or wherever, I think it's in Albania. But they're
Yes,
attacking Locke's warehouse. Love this scene. This is like literally, guys. This is one of my favorite scenes of the whole Bond franchise. Like, I mean, I love
it.
Like,
It is. Yes, it's done really well. The effects, like the pyrotechnics and stuff, all that's good. My only gripe is like there were a few instances where I kind of had trouble telling who was who, and that might have been on purpose. Like they could have just like they were probably trying to convey like how chaotic it was because it was. That's one thing I'll like say to the Spy Who Loved Me's benefit, or like You Only Live Twice. It's very clear.
Yeah, because they're all wearing
Right.
the same uniform. I mean,
Exactly.
they're all wearing like uniforms,
But like we like we already pointed out at the start of this episode, this is a more realistic film, so
Yeah. Well,
not everybody's going to show up to the fight with uniforms, probably.
Well, like, I understand what you're saying, Caleb. Like, I mean, at this point in the movie, you don't know Columbo's men as much. Now, later on in the movie, whenever they're doing the stuff on the monastery,
Yes.
I mean, I think by that point, you probably know Columbo's like his little like gang members, what the way they look. So, I mean, at that point, I could see. But yeah, I mean, here, you don't really know anybody. Everybody's all dressed like in black and dark colors. Everybody looks the same. There's even one scene where like Bond and Columbo literally have guns on each other.
Yeah.
Like
yes. But we also made a point earlier that like both of these sides are just different sides of the same coin.
Yeah.
They're both criminals. So.
Yeah, both different mafia factions, like just
yeah.
But
that's like it's such a minor thing. For the most part, I like this sequence a lot too.
Yeah, I do.
And there's a shot before we get past it. There's a shot when what is the villain's name? No, don't tell me. I'm gonna look it up like I should have in the first place. Screw it, just tell me. What's his name?
Christatos.
Okay. When he detonates that mine, there's a shot of Bond with that big explosion in the background. Yeah. I don't know how they achieved that. It looks like just some stunt guy standing in front of an explosion. But it turned out to be a really cool shot, and I hope that guy didn't get hurt.
Yes.
Because he was literally like right on top of the explosion.
But anyway, I really like this scene. Just love the whole thing. The best part of the whole thing to me. So, Bond's got Locke. He knows where he's going. So he's running up all these stairs. Locke's driving his car. Bond's running upstairs. Locke's driving the car. Then you see Bond. He gets in this opening and he gets his gun and he's aiming it like this. That scene is like number one James Bond scene ever to me.
Yeah,
like
whenever I would like I don't know pretend James Bond, I did that pose all the time.
I just think that is like such an awesome just sequence. Like, I mean,
to me, and this might have been like what you were saying too, but like that seeing Roger Moore in that stance is like
Yes.
a really iconic visual to
Yes.
me.
Colton, what do you think?
I like this whole sequence. Like, I thought it didn't take me out of it. I thought it was well executed. And I thought it was cool when Bond did the shooting stance and he was taking down the guy. I don't know. There's nothing I could say that could take away from it. I think I just like the way the scene ended the most. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
I think that was just the coolest part for me.
Yeah, I said something earlier about how this movie is kind of a slow burn, and like I feel like we're building towards something. This is one of the things that like we were building toward, because that kill felt so earned
Yes.
to me.
For sure.
Like Caleb, what you just said, that is perfect. That kill most definitely felt earned. Like, my God, we've went through hell to get to this point to where we finally got this dude. And just the way, Bond says, he says, he's got that little dove pin. He says, he throws it at him. He says, you left this with Ferrara, I believe. Then he just that scene of Roger Moore kicking that car. Perfection.
Yeah, in
Like,
hindsight, when you take into context all the other Roger Moore moments,
yes.
It might seem out of character, but in the context of like what has led up to this point, it's fitting.
Yeah,
I love that part.
You know what? I'm gonna stand up for Roger Moore. For people who say that Roger Moore's Bond is all camp, hey, watch the movie. Watch the movie For Your Eyes Only. You're gonna see
I
Roger
agree.
Moore do cold-blooded shit, stuff that he was straight up killing. He murdered that dude. I mean,
here's the thing. I think Roger Moore just performs a script, because we have seen him pull off these colder moments, and I think I've said every time, like, yeah, he obviously he can act, he can pull off the colder side of Bond. The problem is they just keep riding slide whistles into the script.
Yes, I mean, straight up, Caleb. Roger Moore can do these cold-blooded stuff. You know what I mean? He can do that gritty Bond. They just don't have him do it half the time. You know what I mean?
But to his credit, he really can. He does pull off the lighter side and the campy stuff really well. Probably better than Sean Connery ever could.
Oh yeah, most definitely. I mean,
they're probably just capitalizing on that.
I mean, and dude, for real, who can say that they don't like Roger Moore?
I cannot.
Dude, it's Roger Moore.
I did say it before we started watching these movies, but I'm on board now.
But
man, I would like to say that. So I know you guys have just talked about out of character, and Jonathan, you spoke in his defense, and Caleb wasn't speaking negatively.
Yeah, I know.
But so, as a person who originally would have thought a kill like this was out of character, like, I recontextualize it in the fact that it's in, for me, like, I love when he does these cold kills, and like, I think that it just makes his character so much better for me. Yes. And if anybody says, not Caleb, of course, if anybody like watches this and gets mad that he killed him like this, or gets mad that he killed Stromberg like he did, if they get mad that he's killing him in this such a manner, they don't get that James Bond is an assassin.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's
like
precisely.
It's as simple as that.
Like, it's perfect for me. And it just, these scenes in this movie and the scene in The Spy Who Loved Me, like, this just shows that this is a strong suit that will be pulled on more in later films, I think. Like,
yeah, they a little too much, but there you can always have too much of something.
Well, I just mean in like, so John Glenn directs the next 5 movies?
Yeah, like he directs all the ones in the 80s. So yeah.
Okay, so like specifically The Living Daylights and License to Kill.
Mm-hmm.
the way he has Bond do some of those kills are just like this, and they're some of my favorite Bond moments.
Yeah.
When we get moments like this, is just when I feel closest to Bond on screen.
I agree.
Everybody likes to say, and I've said it like 100 times, that Timothy Dalton is like the cold-blooded Bond, but I think Roger just didn't get his chance.
That makes a lot of sense, and I can agree with that.
I was just wanting to say that, people say that, I've heard a lot of Bond fans say that, Timothy Dalton did what Daniel Craig did. Well, Roger Moore did what Timothy Dalton did in For Your Eyes Only. You know what I mean?
Even if it was few and far between.
Yeah, I mean, but he did the more. I would say this is by far Roger Moore's most gritty movie. There is, I would say that. I don't know what y'all think. But
I know I would too. I thought the exact same thing.
Yeah.
But I also had this thought. There's a couple of one-liners in here where I wanted to be like Bond, read the room. You know what I mean? Like, just not in this movie. Save it for A View to a Kill.
But
you guys are not getting me excited for that movie.
Oh, I'm going to be honest with you. Colton, honest to God, I would say I'm probably more of a fan of A View to a Kill than most Bond fans, at least, because I think that's one that a lot of people don't like. I do like that movie. I don't know.
I'm not going to say anything because so far, all of the movies that I've said, oh man, I'm dreading this, or this movie sucks, is like, my taste has changed. So.
Colton, if I'm ever off work and my wife and I are just like laying around the house on a Sunday afternoon, nothing to do, put a movie on, A View to a Kill would be one I'd watch. You know what I mean?
It's going to sound stupid because so far I've had I've tried to go into each film with no expectations. There have been some I've been excited for, but I'll be honest, since I have started to like these Roger Moore films, there's a part of me that really wants to go into A View to a Kill and love that movie because my grandma had it when I was a kid. I had the VHS at my grandma's house. It was with all my VHSs.
That's awesome.
I might have watched it.
Dude, I was about to ask if you have watched it.
Dude, that could be your connection to Bond, dude.
Do what?
That could be like your connection to the franchise right there.
That might have been the first one I ever saw, and I just don't remember it.
You don't remember it, yeah. I bet you probably did watch it. You just don't remember
it. It's very possible because I used to watch movies with I used to watch all the VHSs at my grandma's. I'd watch them with her. She had that, and then she had I swear I watched them all because she had some Charlie Sheen movie where he kidnapped a girl with a candy bar.
Well,
it's funny. That's where I watched my first Bond movie, GoldenEye, was at my grandmother's house.
Well, you got to think about this, Colton. Even though a lot of the Bond fandom nowadays don't really like A View to a Kill, A View to a Kill still made a lot of money. A lot of people still liked it. So yeah, you probably did see that.
I mentioned earlier how Moonraker was a critical failure, but I mean that critics didn't like it. But I'm pretty sure it made a lot of money at the box office.
It made a ton of money.
That's the case with most of these films. Yeah. They could be panned by critics, but it probably made money.
But still, the audience still wanted to see 007. You know what I mean?
Oh, we always want him back.
Yeah. Don't matter how old he gets. Think about this. Roger Moore was 58 in A View to a Kill. People still showed up to see him. You know what I mean? No matter how old he is, people always want Bond. You know what I mean?
Speaking of his age, before I forget,
yeah,
he has clearly aged in this movie. It shows in this movie, but it looks good on him.
Yes.
Here it looks good on him. Now, I will say in A View to a Kill, it's,
it looks noticeably a little bit different in A View to a Kill.
Well, he's so old that it's I don't think you need to be a secret agent anymore. But here it comes off as kind of like how Craig did in Skyfall.
Yeah.
Kind of grizzled, but wise and experienced.
Yes.
But that makes a lot of sense.
And so anyway, the next scenes we see Bond and Melina go down to the ship and they get the ATAC, and on the way out they fight the guy in
the Michelin Man.
What?
The Michelin Man.
Yeah, they fight the Michelin Man, and then after that, they fight the dude in the other submarine. Mm. And then they're taking, like, they get back to their ship, and of course, Christatos has it. And they then, Christatos then proceeds to kill Hall, Bond, and Melina. This sequence is directly taken out of the Live and Let Die novel, which I love. I love that they're mining the novels for influences in the movies. I dig it. Love it. Of course, whenever I was a kid watching the movie, I didn't know that,
Like, I've read the Live and Let Die novel. I completely forgot about that. Like, you just unlocked a core memory from like 4 months ago, 5 months ago. Like,
I know I always do this, but I'm going to backtrack. I want to talk about the Michelin Man for a second. When I saw him, I remember them seeing that suit in the warehouse in Albania. And when he came in that room that they were in, I was like, oh gosh, here we go. It's going to be one of these slow ass underwater action sequences. But I found myself like a couple of minutes into the sequence, I was like really excited, and I was like, oh, wait a minute. They're not playing this like trying to be fast paced and exciting. This is suspenseful.
Yes.
And it does that really, really, really well. That's what I was saying earlier, how this movie is a better Jaws ripoff than The Spy Who Loved Me was. And I'm not saying that that's what they were going for. I'm just saying that like both of those movies do suspense really well, especially in this scene.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest with you. I do believe this is probably my favorite Bond underwater sequence ever. You know what I mean?
It's up there.
I mean, it is either this or The Spy Who Loved Me when the Lotus is, doing its stuff.
Well, I think they're good for different. Sorry,
I think it'd be hard to top the Lotus for me.
Yeah.
Well, they're both good for different reasons.
Yeah, but like if you're talking about Bond outside of a vehicle underwater, The Spy Who Loved Me's got it.
So the whole time this sequence was going on, I was like on the edge of my seat. I was like, they had 8 minutes. I swear we've been underwater for 30 minutes. And then like her oxygen or whatever was cut. I was like, she's about to die.
Yeah, because it was held on there with like some hose clamps from AutoZone. Did you guys notice that?
They were wearing rain jackets.
Well, yeah, okay.
It was, wasn't it?
Like it, I did not know how that was a scuba suit or whatever.
But seriously, like the hose clamps that were like had their oxygen hoses fastened were like those, the pack of hose clamps you can get at like the parts store.
You just tied them down with
that you tied with a nut driver.
Yeah,
that's what they had on there. Dude, that might work. I don't know. I'm just saying that I've used those to really rig some stuff.
And they always come loose.
They always come loose. Yeah. Man, I was gonna say one more thing about this scene, and I'm gonna ask you, Jonathan, because I feel like you're the most likely to know. Could they actually talk in those suits? Because they're communicating back and forth the whole time they're down there.
I would think that maybe they'd have like some sort of like comm link or a radio uplink or something like that.
Okay, so those suits, and I don't even know if they're real. Like Colton said, they might have just been like fashioned out of some old raincoats.
Yeah.
But their mouth is sealed off.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking that they have is it a respirator or a rebreather or something like in their mouth the whole time, like a traditional scuba suit. So I don't know if that was the case, and I don't know how that would talk.
Yeah. Yeah, you got a point there. I really don't know, honestly.
We don't have to dwell on this. I just thought like maybe you would know.
I don't, bud, honestly.
Okay.
As much as like I was ragging on the suits, I never once stopped to wonder how they were talking.
Like, dude, I gotta tell you.
I'm sorry.
If my wife makes it this far, she'll like this part too. I gotta tell you what my wife said to me, because I pointed it out like midway through this part. I was like, how are they talking? And my wife goes, oh, they just filmed this first and then they dubbed over it. And I was like,
That makes a lot of sense.
yeah, I know how the effect was achieved. I'm asking how are the characters talking?
Your wife's she's a smart girl.
That was really funny. Like, yeah.
She's a smart girl.
Sounds good to me. Caleb,
I mean,
respect.
You know what that is? That's my humor rubbing off. Like we've been together for too long, is what that is.
Yep.
Because that's some shit I would say.
So, of course, Bond and Melina make their way out by Bond using a rock to carve his rope in half. Mm-hmm. And Bond and Melina make it back to the boat to where they get a helpful hint from a parrot who tells them to go to St. Cyril's. So what did y'all think about the parrot?
I thought it was foreshadowed really heavily early in the movie, so I kind of expected it, but I still really liked it.
I'm glad you said that because I thought the same thing. Like as soon as the parrot came on screen, I was like, well, "Wait a minute, I've seen this movie before. I know."
You know what's going to happen.
Yeah. So the fact that you said that it was foreshadowed, is credit toward the movie. But I am going to say something that might break your heart. That parrot was dubbed.
What?
The parrot was dubbed.
I'm kidding.
Yeah, it was but it was the same actor that played oh crap, who was the woman in Doctor No? This joke fell flat. Never mind. I was gonna say Honey Rider, but I couldn't think of the actress. Obviously, it wasn't her. I was just gonna say that because she dubbed multiple people in the series.
Yeah.
Yeah, it fell flat. I'm sorry.
You're talking about Nikki Vandersdale is who you're thinking of.
That's it.
Anyway, so of course Bond like does this rock climbing stuff, and I'm gonna be honest with you guys. This is guys, think about this. Bond is up on rocks climbing it. This is a badass scene. I mean, he is literally doing some death-defying stuff right here. You know what I mean? I love this whole scene. Love it, love it, love it. What do y'all think?
Caleb, you go first.
I think John Glenn has got a thing for rock climbing.
I think he does too.
Because it occurred to me when I was watching this movie and this scene came up, I was like, this is like, okay, so I know this movie's got a rock climbing sequence. The Living Daylights has one.
Living Daylights.
And I think License to Kill doesn't have a rock climbing sequence, but it has a part where Bond is like rappelling down a building, maybe.
Yeah.
I remember now. Yeah, and he I think he like
goes
past a window or something like that. But yeah, I think that's a John Glenn thing. But with that being said, yeah, this is a really cool sequence.
Yeah. Well, Caleb, honest to God, I love the John Glenn era. I do too. Literally, John Glenn is A1 with me. I love the man. I think he did a great job. He's still alive, I think, too. I mean, I think he's very old, but I think he's still alive.
I'm going to tell you something about John Glenn that we're just now starting to realize about movies. Like, the guys who start out second unit directing, which is like the guys who, handle all the action sequences while principal photography is going on. That's what John Glenn started out doing. And would you know it, he's a great director.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Hey, guys, I'm going to be straight with you. John Glenn is, I mean, he's a big one with me. I love the man. Like, how do y'all feel about him? Like, because I've always been one to hold his flag up whenever Bond fans talk.
I mean, I'm going to sound a little. I'm gonna go ahead and just tell you straight up. Like, John Glenn directed my favorite Bond movie. Like, no doubt about it. Like, I haven't got there yet. I don't want to spoil it for the listeners, but The Living Daylights is probably my favorite Bond movie. I've watched it so many times now. Like, I love it,
bro.
I love it.
You didn't want to spoil it, so you just put it as your middle name.
So, John Glenn actually directed two of my favorite Bond movies, and I guess I'm going to go ahead and spoil it. But two of my favorites are this movie, For Your Eyes Only, and The Living Daylights. I'm not trying to copy Colton, but I mean, I've always loved those movies, and to me, they're just something that makes me feel like a little boy again, like I'm 8 years old and mom's took me to the video store, and I can rent my own VHS movie.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like to me whenever I watch whenever I watch those two movies at least.
I understand.
But anyway, let's get back to where we were at. So the whole rock climbing sequence, Bond makes it up to the top. He fights that one guy, ends up throwing him off he hits him with a knife, then he falls off the monastery, whatever you want to call it, the rock that they're on.
Mm-hmm.
And then Bond gets everybody to come up on the basket. So what do y'all think about all this sequence? Anything to say, boys?
Like, I love the set. Like, I know it's not a set. I love I mean, I don't know if it's a set or if I can imagine the rock climbing's on location. I don't know if the actual top is an actual top part or not. I don't know. I didn't research it. But, like, just the thought of that would be where a villain would go to hide, and it'd be, like, not necessarily impregnable, but literally that ridiculous to get there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. It really stands out for me in this movie. Like, more so than the villain. The villain is fine. The location is what does it for me.
It's like,
I agree.
the way I would put it is it's like over the top in a realistic way.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm going to add to that. See, one of the things that like I think is crazy are people who climb rocks.
Yes.
And just the fact that Bond is doing that in this movie, it's like, all right, you are definitely a badass if you're doing this stuff right here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
if you look at Bond when he's climbing the rocks, when he takes, they're called, I don't know what they're called, but like the mount or the hooks or whatever that you like hammer into the rocks, the stakes or whatever. Whenever he does that, it goes in like butter. Like, I would be terrified.
Yes.
It would just fall back out.
If it goes in that easy, it's probably going to come out easy too.
Exactly.
But the fact that he's even like attempting rock climbing, considering how his parents died, I would say,
like Colton. I don't know if you know this, but the original, the James Bond's parents died during rock climbing.
I wasn't aware of that.
Oh, you didn't know that?
No, like I might have.
I'm sorry. Well, it's not really a spoiler, I don't guess, but well.
Well, I mean, like, what movie is it referenced in?
GoldenEye.
GoldenEye.
Okay, I've seen GoldenEye. I probably subconsciously knew it because I really like GoldenEye.
Yeah.
Like it just wasn't in the forefront of my mind. I'm not gonna say I knew it. I'm just saying, like, it sounds like something that I've heard before.
Oh man, you know what I just remembered? This is crazy. I had a question about on Her Majesty's Secret Service that I meant to ask when we were recording. I was going to ask John.
Go ahead.
And I forgot all about it, and I remembered it since we were talking about this. There is a scene where I think it's one of Tracy's dad. I think it's one of her guys that's like sent to maybe look after Bond or just watch him, I guess. And he dies while he's scaling that mountain, rock climbing. And I think there's a shot that like lingers on him, and then there's a shot of of James Bond, and it lingers on him for a while. And to me, it seemed like there was sort of like making a connection to that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
All right.
It sounded like a good question in my head. It's probably not what it was. It's probably me reading too much into it. I do that a lot.
Caleb, I know exactly what scene you're talking about, and I could feel that emotion from that scene.
Yeah.
Like, I totally get what you're saying.
Well, I think what it real quick. What I think what it is like every time I watch that movie, I go into it like looking for like subtext and you know looking trying to peel back all the layers. So and I noticed that the last time I watched it, and I was like, I'm smart, but in reality, probably not.
You are smart. Like, don't sell yourself short.
Well,
Like,
yeah,
like it's also, I know what you mean. Like, where it's like easy to see stuff
exactly.
when
Yeah.
you want to see it. But I mean,
Anyway,
I agree. I agree with what you're saying, though. I think that could be a thing.
Yeah, it's just the way that that shot lingers on Bond is what made it stick out to me.
yeah. So anyway, Bond he fights Eric Kriegler and throws him off the throws him out of the window. You know, the blonde headed guy. Y'all know who I'm talking about?
Yeah,
Yeah, I hated
I
that
didn't
guy.
know there was a pool down there. Oh
Yeah.
wait, never
Yeah,
mind.
Bond
There
throws him
wasn't a
out.
pool down there.
And then, of course, we get Bond and Christatos at the end, and Melina wants to kill him, and Bond is like, no. And it turns out that Columbo actually kills him. I'm going to say this right here. I think it is messed up that Bond does not let Melina kill the man who killed her parents.
So
Yeah.
I fully agree with you, John, because it's not like Bond is keeping her from having blood on her hands. She has been murdering folks
Right.
the entire movie.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't make any sense. It's like they're trying to give it like an emotional weight that hasn't been there the rest of the movie.
I feel that about every time this movie tries to push the emotional stuff. I
Yeah.
want to say it's like, and at this point, I was like, dude, just let her.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, really, this kill should be hers. I'll say that. It should be
Yeah.
Melina's. Melina should get this kill. Bond should let her get it. I mean, really. And we get General Gogol come in at the end, and Bond throws the ATAC off the side, which blows up. And General Gogol just pretty much is like, you know what? I'm gone, and gets back in the helicopter and leaves.
he's like, you know what? I'm not gonna be in any more of these movies, and then flies off.
But he is definitely in more of these movies. We will.
He is.
Oh,
we
is
will see
he?
him in the next?
Yeah.
Oh crap! My bad. I thought this was his last one.
Oh no! He's in two more.
Okay. He said, I'm not gonna be in any more of these movies. Then John Glenn like waves a check, and he's like, okay.
Well, at the end of the movie, it says M will return in M's next movie, and then General Gogol will return in his next movie instead of James Bond.
I'm glad you brought up the ATAC because I forgot I wanted to bring that
Yep.
up about the M scene where they ask Bond, do you know what the ATAC is? He's like, no, oh yeah, I do. And he just starts rattling it off like, dude, if I was M or whatever character that was, like I would have just been like, like yes would be fine. You just say yes.
Obviously, they know what it is because they're trying to debrief him.
Right. Yeah. It's like, hey, we're trying to brief you on this mission. Do you know what the ATAC is? And then Bond gives this like thesis, and they're just like, it's like how y'all are when I start talking. It's like,
Yeah.
dude, just like 2, 3 words.
That is not how we feel when you're talking, man.
Well, that's how I feel.
So
Okay.
so the movie ends with Bond and Melina taking a moonlight swim. So what do you think about the movie, boys?
John, I want to say something about General Gogol real quick. I absolutely love his interaction with Bond there. Like, I thought that like really shows that they've got a rapport with each other, and it was hilarious and well executed. Also, I really enjoy the movie. I don't know where I rank it, but I would definitely recommend this movie. It's probably definitely in my top 10 for sure.
Yeah. That's something that this series isn't really known for, and I didn't notice it until obviously this most recent viewing. But like their relationship, like Bond and Goggles, is like actually developed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's not we don't get that a lot. So that was really cool. 8 out of 10. Like I don't like giving the numerical ratings, but like that's just the best way for me to sum it up. Like that's just I don't know. Like I feel like 8 out of 10 gives everybody a good idea like how I feel.
So
So
I'm gonna be honest with you. This movie right here, this and The Spy Who Loved Me are the ones that I keep on thinking, which one is the better Roger Moore movie? And literally it changes every time I think about it. Right now, I'm gonna say this is the better Roger Moore movie. I love this movie. It is literally a top 3 movie for me. I love this movie. I think Roger Moore, I mean, for the people who says that Roger Moore can't do a dark Bond movie, hey, this is the movie for them.
Yep.
Roger Moore does some dark things. Now he's not like evil, but at the same time, he does some things where it's like, hey, that's kind of dark for your character who's supposed to be campy all the time. You know what I mean?
yeah.
I mean, For Your Eyes Only, to me, it's just such a, even though it came out in 81, I think of it as a childhood movie. I mean, I watched it all the time. That VHS tape was played, believe me. I mean, I remember whenever I got it, my Aunt Kathy bought me that movie and Goldfinger. I got those 2 on VHS.
Hey, shout out to Aunt Kathy. Thank you, Aunt Kathy.
Hey, Aunt Kathy is an awesome woman, and she's a good woman.
This right here, what you're saying, is because of her.
Yes.
Single-handedly.
Yes. Yes, it is.
Yes.
This whole podcast.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'll be straight with y'all.
She saved my life. Like almost like she saved me from a house fire. And so
Caleb, you're too funny. Okay,
no.
I'll be straight with you guys. I mean, my Aunt Kathy is to thank for a lot of my James Bond obsessiveness. I mean, she would always get me like, she was that relative like, Christmas time, she would always get you what you want. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, she would be like, what do you want? And you could tell Aunt Kathy what you want. And by God, Aunt Kathy was going to get you what you want.
So, John, just like a small psychoanalysis, did Aunt Kathy have any kids?
No.
Bro, she probably looked at you like one of her kids.
She does. She tells me that all the time.
Yeah, she probably loves you very much, man.
She's I mean, Colton and Caleb both. Y'all should meet her sometime. I mean,
I would love to.
Yeah.
All joking aside, she sounds really sweet.
Yeah, she's a wonderful woman.
Yeah.
But
I think she would save me from a house fire.
But just thinking about it, it is something like whenever she bought Goldfinger and For Your Eyes Only on VHS, they were probably what, $10 a piece?
Yeah.
She put what, $20 at the most into that purchase. And look at this. 25 years later, here I am talking about it.
There's no way she realized what that meant to you.
Yeah.
That's really cool. There's only like a handful of things that you can look back on and say that about, but that is definitely one of those things. And the reason I know that is because like for me, it's a Nintendo 64 and GoldenEye.
Yeah.
Like, that's how mine started. So
well, I'm going to be honest with you, Caleb. I think that's probably how I got into this whole thing. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah. It probably through GoldenEye. It's got to be GoldenEye.
That spurred it along.
Yeah.
Getting those tapes.
Yeah. But I mean, GoldenEye is what led to us getting all those VHS tapes for our VCR back in the day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
GoldenEye is what started this whole obsession for me, at least.
Yeah, and I might have mentioned it on this show already, and if I have, forgive me. But like for me, it was the game, and then my dad telling me, "Hey, do you know this is based on a movie?" And I was like, "What? No way!" And then we watched GoldenEye, and the wheels kept turning.
And I want to say that, like, I mean, I know for me, especially whenever I was a kid, James Bond was more than just a movie or a video game. It was what we played on the playground. I remember playing James Bond at recess. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And also,
Well,
I'll say this. Go ahead.
Sorry, it was just me though. Nobody wanted, like, when I was playing James Bond, everybody was looking at me like, what is he doing? You know.
Well, me and Will Lewis used to play James Bond back in the day.
Peter.
What?
Peter.
Sorry?
So something else I want to say.
Peter.
Gotcha. Oh yeah. Okay.
But
Sorry, John.
oh, you're good, man. But yeah, this movie, man, it's a top 10. You know.
John, I would like to tell you a little tidbit about my experience watching this movie.
Okay, tell me.
So a lot of these James Bond movies I have to watch in pieces because of my schedule, and you guys know how my stuff is. I sat down and watched this movie in one sitting. I did not pause the movie other than to see who played who sometimes, because like Amazon has the
X-ray thing.
The X-ray thing, and it shows you the actors. Yeah. I watched this movie from start to finish in one sitting. I did not get up. Like, I had my drink, and I absolutely adore this film. Like,
I agree.
It takes a lot for one of these movies to hold my attention like that, and it does a good job. Yes. So, like, this is definitely in my top 10. And I didn't think a more film would be like that. But A Spy Who Loved Me and this one is definitely in my top 10, man.
This one definitely earns a spot in my top 10. I don't know where, but yeah. And I think what makes it so good to me, even if it's just like by a little bit, it's just how big of a departure it is from Moonraker. Like,
it really is, ain't it?
That it just makes just all the fact that it's just sitting on the ground, like you said earlier, like just it's refreshing.
I mean, just to think that this guy right here was in space.
They don't even seem like the same character, dude.
Yeah. It doesn't, does it?
Which,
but I guess so I could see the same character dropping Blofeld down the smokestack. like
Yeah,
it's the same character at the beginning of the movie, but because of that one instance, he's got to tighten up.
What is a delicatessen?
A delicatessen is like a deli. You know, you go there, you get you some meat cut. You know what I mean?
That's what I thought. So
pretty much that saying, you know, I'll buy you a delicatessen in stainless steel is some gangster talk that Cubby Broccoli heard whenever he was younger, and he used
an
it
expression.
In this, what?
It's just an expression.
Yes.
Okay.
But guys, I'm gonna be straight with you. I love this movie so much. I do, and it's just, it makes me feel like I'm a little boy again. This is one of the movies that I watched over and over. I mean, guys, I've probably seen this movie 100 times. I mean, I watched it a lot when I was a kid, you know.
Yeah.
And still to this day, this is a movie that I will put on, you know, periodically just to watch, you know, just because it's just, I just remember it being good, you know.
This is one of those that I just haven't thought about in a while.
Yeah.
But when I was a kid, this was one that I revisited a lot. I think I mentioned earlier that I wore the VHS out.
Yeah.
And to your point, when as soon as Bond gets in the helicopter and the guy's earphones don't they electrocute him?
Yes.
Is that what happened? That took me back to being a kid, because I loved this opening scene as a kid, and it's good now. But it did make me feel like a kid again.
Shout out to United Exports, or
International Exports.
Universal Exports.
Universal Exports.
Yeah.
My bad. It was on the side of the helicopter. I always love
Universal.
That.
Yeah, my bad. I got it wrong too.
Hey man, it's bedtime.
I'm just gonna
be close.
like this is most definitely one of my probably top three favorite movies. I love it. This
Yeah,
is
I said top 10 earlier. If I were to sit down and actually figure out my top 10, I'm willing to bet that this would be it would if it wasn't in the top 5, it would be close.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah,
yeah,
like I mean I can't say enough good things about it. I mean it's I mean like I said, nostalgia is a big player here, man. I remember being a little boy and just watching this movie all the time. Like I mean
but
just,
whether it's nostalgia or not, I don't think that dismisses anything.
yeah.
Like if it's nostalgic, then it means it was good at one point.
Yeah.
And
But it's to me it's still good.
yeah,
It can still pull it.
it does a lot really, really, really well.
And
Um,
I know this movie is really one that they tried to bring Bond, figuratively and literally back down to earth. But the next movie that comes next, it's Octopussy, and is okay. Colton, have you seen Octopussy yet?
I have read the book. I've not seen it.
Okay, the book has nothing to do with the movie, so
I anticipated it because the book was like
so
5 minutes long.
the movie Octopussy is really good, but at the same time, uh, it's a little more on the. I mean, I don't know. I feel like Octopussy is more of like it's got its fantastical, but at the same time, it's still a Cold War story. Whereas Moonraker was like all fantastic shit. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
Octopussy's kind of like you take the gritty and the fantastic, and you kind of like put it together, and that's what you get. Now, A View to a Kill is all on the fantastical, but Octopussy's kind of like a
nice marriage.
yes.
Yeah, I was gonna say from what I remember, because it has been a while since I've watched that movie. I would compare it to like The Spy Who Loved Me. Is that fair, or is it
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
more? Would it be more fantastical, maybe?
I don't. I would. I don't know. I don't know.
Well, we'll see. That's the next movie, right?
Hey, let's see about it next episode because that will be Octopussy. I want you to tell me what you think because The Spy Who Loved Me has the whole underwater car, but Octopussy has some real fantastical stuff too. So I don't know.
Okay. Well, I look
But,
forward to it.
So, guys, let me ask you this. What's your last words on For Your Eyes Only?
You have a license to kill and to be killed.
I don't really know how to sum it up, man. I think I'm just kind of taken away, if that makes sense. I was surprised.
Let's go.
You liked it.
Yeah, I liked it.
Let's go to
Yeah.
bed.
Let's go to bed, Caleb.
Yeah.
No, I like what do you say? Like I said earlier, like, it just does so much right. I don't have a lot to complain about. I think I've said all the things that I like about it. It's just all around a good, solid movie.
Yeah, honestly, whenever I think about this movie, I just I think about a little boy back in 2002
Hmm.
who all he wanted to do was watch James Bond,
Yeah.
That's what I think about. This is definitely one of my favorites, boys.
If
Always.
you were the same type of Bond fan that I was when I was a kid, um, you would find certain ones to. There's really no other way to put it other than to obsess over.
Yeah.
And this was one of those for me for like
Yeah.
probably 6 months. I watched it over and over and over, and then the next one might have been Goldeneye or The Living Daylights, but I remember there's like a handful in the series that I did that with. Then this was one of those for me.
It's just to be in that mindset again. and to be like a little kid and to have 3 movies and to just watch them all the time and be happy about it. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot. And in your case, you were just limited to those few tapes that you had, and for a while that was me too, because I had GoldenEye, Tomorrow Never Dies, and The World Is Not Enough. Those were my 3 for a long time.
And so I'm gonna
Jonathan,
go ahead and spoil a future Bond movie. The first Bond movie I ever had on DVD was License to Kill. My aunt bought me that too. My aunt was the one that bought me most of my Bond movies when I was a kid.
Aunt Kathy.
Aunt Kathy, yes. Hey,
Colton, do you need to go?
I just want to say one more thing before we get off.
Okay.
Jonathan, the way you just described that is like a boy and his 3 VHSs, and that's all you needed. Content.
Well, you need a VCR. You need a VCR too.
and a television set and electricity. A whole bunch of there's it's a whole list.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is like other kids, they wanted every toy, they wanted everything. That's all you needed to be content, and like it wasn't even just content, you were overjoyed probably.
Yes.
Like just for you to know that feeling and to remember it 25 years later fondly. I already know how much this franchise and all these films mean to you, but just for you to share that feeling with me and Caleb is really special, man. And
I'll
I'm glad to be
reciprocate that
doing this
because
with you guys.
And
I share a lot of those same, sentiments. And for me, I mean, a lot of it is nostalgia for me. I'll be the first to admit it, but it's like you said, the fact that those feelings are still there so many years later. Maybe that's just a testament to how strong a feeling nostalgia is, or maybe it's a testament to how good the series is. But either way, like I said, I don't think nostalgia dismisses anything.
No, it just a nostalgic feeling doesn't equate on a qualitative level, if that makes sense.
You smell toast?
Huh?
You smell toast?
so
I'm not having a stroke, okay?
So I want to say this.
I got what you're saying. I was just being a dick. I'm sorry.
Okay.
No, that made perfect sense.
Okay.
So I want to go ahead and say that we are going to go ahead and close this. My boy Colton Flatt needs to be off at 6:30, and I think we've said enough good about this movie. I think we've said what we need to about it. I think I'm going to say my last parts on it. This is a movie that takes me back to being a little boy, being, just watching it with my dad, watching it on my own. I'd come home from school, watch it. It just made me feel good. It's a comfort movie for me.
Yeah.
It is a Sunday afternoon. I'm laying around with my wife, we put it on, we watch it, cuddling, having a good time. That's all I got to say. I'm going to hand it off to you boys.
I'd like to say this is a great film, and just go with God.
God's going to sit this one out. It's a line from The Punisher.
Yeah, I know. Okay. I love The Punisher.
Yeah, like it's perfect. Like a lot of people wouldn't know that, but like Jesus.
Well, see, Kayla, me and Colton are big Punisher fans, so we know all that stuff.
Thomas Jane is my favorite Punisher.
Okay,
like,
I was gonna say I'm a fan of that particular one. That's the only iteration that I like. I'm not saying that the show was bad. I just haven't seen it.
Yeah.
So
the line you just said is when he's standing on the beach and he's got the beard. He's about to go take care of business.
Yep. So, Caleb, what do you got to say about this movie?
It's terrible. I really did not. No.
Has there been one Bond movie we said was terrible yet?
Man, the only thing that comes close is Diamonds, but I would be lying if I said I didn't have fun watching that, dude.
Yeah.
Like it's like watching a train wreck. It's just but no, like this movie is like I put it in the same category as like GoldenEye and maybe even Casino Royale.
Yeah.
What I mean is, and I don't know exactly how to put it, so I'll just say it like this: like they just do everything so competently. It's just a well executed on every level. Like, it's just a great film, and even separated from the series, like it's a great film on its own. And there's not a lot of movies in this series that I can say that about.
Yeah.
I hate to say that, but there's some of these movies that you can only really enjoy if you're a fan of the series. But this movie like stands pretty well on its own, I think.
Well, I appreciate that. And guys, I think we want to go ahead and close it off. Thank you for talking about this movie with me. This is a personal favorite with me, as you can see. Appreciate you spending your time talking about this movie with me. I'm Jonathan Lynham, off.
I'm Caleb Mabry. Oh, sorry. Say your outro again, Colton.
I just said Colt Flat.
Oh, okay. I'm Caleb Mabry. Colton, go chew an aspirin.
And next week we'll be talking about Octopussy. And spoiler alert, I really liked Octopussy. So just gonna go ahead and say that. Colton, have you seen this movie?
I have not.
Caleb, have you seen this movie in the past 10 years?
Oh, probably not. I'm gonna say no just to be safe.
Okay, well, you guys are in for a treat. At least I really do love Octopussy. I hope you do too. I think you will. But that being said, I'm signing off. I will see you next week, boys and audience. Tell us something in those comments.
Have we gotten any feedback?
We actually did. We had one guy say that he wanted to be on the podcast with us, and I haven't heard anything back from him yet. So, message me, man. I put my email out there for you.
It was me. I left that comment. It was me.
Really?
No. What if it was?
Wait. Anyway.
No. I really, if he listens to this episode, we really want you to come on.
Yeah, dude, it'd be awesome. We're down for that.
We're down.
Yeah.
See you later, fellas. Y'all have a good night.
Adios, boys and audience. See you next time in Octopussy. Later, boys.
Later.
Thank you for joining us on For Your Ears Only, a Bondcast, episode 12, For Your Eyes Only.